We created and make this audit tax exam available to you so we can provide you with a clear understanding of the nature and the extent of your audit and tax challenges. We'll show you the different alternatives that present to you at the conclusion of your audit tax exam, so you'll be able to make a confident choice about how you want to reach the resolution you seek. Now, we've been providing audit tax exam services to people for more than 35 consecutive years, and we do it because it works. It clarifies issues, discards inaccurate beliefs, and eliminates unnecessary concerns and anxieties. History has proven, and we are sure that you'll agree, that your audit tax exam experience is well worth your time, effort, and money. As you know, there's a flat charge for your audit tax exam. Still, there isn't a limit on the amount of time that we devote to completing it for you. Our goal is to help you make good decisions, and that can only be done after you are fully apprised of the true nature and extent of your challenge. The end result of your audit tax exam is to present you the alternatives that will maximize the benefits and the protections that the law extends to you. The truth be known, the flat rate that we charge for your audit tax exam is a mere fraction of the total time and effort that we commit to this process. After 35 years, we continue to make audit tax exams available because we know audits and the pressures that come with them can seriously debilitate people. And we've seen how the government throws its weight around, especially when people aren't represented or when they have representation that isn't appropriately experienced or ready for the engagement. Now, we have seen how that lack of knowledge and experience is used to people's disadvantage distinctly, where additional taxes are improperly imposed, where massive penalties and interest is added, and where, quite frankly, someone doesn't even have the foggiest clue of why what it is that's happening is improper. Now, we've seen taxpayers pay tens of thousands of dollars and even more unnecessarily, if not improperly, because the law just didn't support the demand to begin with. Years ago, we coined the phrase tax crisis to help people understand that tax problems can challenge individuals financially, psychologically, emotionally, and yes, even physically, to a point where they are actually debilitated. Now, certainly not everyone is affected so severely, and not everyone is affected in the same way or in the same particular extent. But every taxpayer has the ability, based on their own experience, to sense how this type of thing can happen. And especially if you have already been affected in one of those particular component fashions. And moreover, there isn't a single taxpayer who wants to undergo a tax audit, or for that matter, to have to pay additional tax penalties or interest, or see the auditor expand the scope of an audit deeper into transactions and into relationships that weren't expected, or into additional years or other tax returns. But if you don't know what your rights are, if you don't know what limits may be applicable against an auditor and the activity that the auditor is engaging, if you don't know how to and the timing that you want to bring these rights into play, then you're going to be completely at odds and at a disadvantage in the process. The point is, we know. So, during your audit tax exam, we will review your history, the challenges and the burdens that now confront you, and the procedures and the means best to address them. And yes, what happened to you and how it happened is important. What you want to accomplish is important too. So, there are provisions in the federal law and the state law that lend themselves in such a way that allow us to shape your facts, your circumstances, to shape them within the context of your goals, so as to maximize the benefits and the protections that are available to you under the law. That's what we do. That's why we're tax controversy attorneys. In other words, your tax challenges probably have very critical features that should be taken into account when we consider your facts, and which, if they're ignored, are simply going to force you to run the risk of not enjoying the benefits and the results that actually could work to your advantage. So the point is, we need your help. We need to know as much detail about your situation as you can possibly give us. And because of that, we ask that after your consultation today, you need to sit down and create an outline of events and give that to us in the next week, or less if you have an emergency. And if you have an emergency, that will be discussed today too. In any case, as you write your outline, be sure to include anything that seems to be related. Approach your outline, your history in that manner, and the risk that you will inadvertently or unknowingly leave something out will be reduced. We can decide and assign weights to the information that you provide, and we can also help you establish the priority in regard to what needs to be provided, if you will, first, if information might not be available to you at this moment. Now, later today, to help you get started, we'll give you an outline sample that will help you organize your thoughts and efforts to bring us up to date. And you'll also have to sign documents that are referred to as tax powers of attorney. Now, once these are signed, those documents give us the authority to speak to the tax man about your tax challenges and specifically about your audit process, and to obtain your tax history and related records. Yes, all of that is included in the flat fee audit tax exam. In any case, please never forget, tax auditors are highly trained, primarily dedicated to finding two things. One, it seeks to find additional revenue for the government. It's as simple as that. And two, it seeks to identify crime. Now, because of this, it is unwise for you to represent yourself during your audit. And frankly, we don't say that idly. A clear objective, a clear perspective is necessary, and simply good intentions and best intentions are not enough to carry you through an audit. Over the years, people have routinely come to us after they or someone else handled their audit previously, only to find that the results were disastrous and completely outside of the realm of their expectation. Sure, in most of those cases, we can still help, but look how much time, energy, money, and emotion has already been consumed. Invariably, those people complained that the auditor's decisions didn't square with the facts, are extremely heavy-handed, or are outright illegal. And they look like they were shocked. And many continue to tell us that they thought that the auditor seemed to be a nice guy. Now, imagine entering that into the formula. It doesn't, does it? The truth is, auditors are highly trained in the use of the tools that are made available to them. They use those tools to pursue those two goals, which are, again, raise money for the government and identify crime. So that's the mentality. That's the predisposition. The framework within which everything you innocently, well-intendedly, make available to the auditor through your disclosures are decided within that framework. Sure, the vast majority of IRS auditors and state auditors are professional and cordial in their demeanor. But don't misinterpret that conversational approach, because beware, nothing could be further from the truth. Such subtleties are beyond what most people can comprehend in the audit environment. And so the most innocent event, the most innocent statement, even with the best of intention, can be subject to being terribly misunderstood and misinterpreted by the auditor. There's that much of a disconnect between a person who's being audited when he makes the statements and the auditors who's trying to evaluate everything within the framework that I already laid out. Amongst auditors and investigators, stories abound about how taxpayers unknowingly disclosed or unwittingly provided information by not answering a question succinctly or directly, or, for instance, where someone nervously kept talking while the auditors just sat still, or where the return address on envelope sitting in open view contradicted information that's already been provided. It happens. Or where a kid or a neighbor may say something which is at odds with what the taxpayer has either been saying or trying to convince the auditor to understand. Now, even if the auditor does not directly challenge a taxpayer face-to-face or at any particular line item during the meeting, it doesn't mean that there isn't a problem. Okay, you get the idea. That's probably enough, at least for now, isn't it? Because you already sense that you need assistance, you need representation when you're in this audit experience. And you need it because you don't know what you don't know. Okay, that's a given, and that's factually accurate and experientially true. What's next? Let's complete this audit tax exam. And let's do it within that time period that I've already set up. Get your information to us within a week unless you have an emergency. And if you do, that's going to be talked out today too. And new dates for action will be set. And then we'll complete the audit tax exam, talk to you again and sit down with you again and go over the particular alternatives that are available and what we can forecast as to what it is that we think we would do if we were you. And then we can go from there. You can make your choices, and we'll also tell you what the fees are that would go along with the rest of the work that we would perform for you. And assuming that we all agree, then it's just a matter of signing the final engagement agreement paperwork and paying the necessary advance.